Okay, so yeah, so what did we do this past week? So after our last weekly review, we broke out to do to start discussing the out home challenges, like what we have to do for the judge awards and how we have to submit them. Um, we split up some of the tasks for the game design challenge. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some more of that done this afternoon. And we also talked about some of the robot stuff. We haven't really decided how all we have to do that. There's some certain tasks that I know we should make sure we can divide up and get done, but it shouldn't be too difficult for the robot submission. Um, and then Grisha, Sunny, and Suan were over talking about Innovation Challenge. Only no, none of them are here for that anymore. So we will discuss Innovation Challenge a little later. We have several different ideas, and we think we can get something pretty good for the first round of submissions that are due on March 4th. Um, is there anything else that happened last Wednesday that we need to go over? I think the biggest thing is we just need to get working on these pretty quickly so that we can um, get them ready to be submitted relative in short order. So we're not just like it's just not sticking with us constantly for the next um, month because a lot of it we have all the information now to get it done. We just need to finish it. Okay. The Thursday we did OnShape Training, so there's a link here for it. So yeah, these are all in the normal kickoff slides, which they're sitting in weekly. If you're in meeting chat, it's in there too. The link to this document. Um, the we went over how to do like laser joint and T-slot joint feature scripts. Um, they are very helpful in getting parts done really quickly because you don't have to do all of the little detail work yourself. The feature scripts just do them. Um, so the video helps walk you through how that kind of works. We're making a box for the Prusa Mini 3D printer. I think got most people through this and having it working pretty well who were there in session. If anyone is doing it separately, if you couldn't make the training session and you want to start working on it, let me know and I can log on and help you out if something gets weird or something. But ideally, as more people go through this as possible, because this is going to be how we build a lot of the stuff for the robot, is with these two feature scripts. Is they make things really fast for our laser and router parts. Coming forward, we had a good weekend. We were able to get up to the school with several people on both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, before our first session, we had a STEMI Zoom meeting with a nonprofit group that we're going to be partnering with to be able to run some virtual classes. So the nonprofit group has a bunch of contacts for students and school districts, and they can kind of get whatever outreach efforts we want. They can get us an audience, which is the thing that we don't do really well. Like we don't have a big contact list for every school and things in the area where they do. So we'll be able to um, work with them to get something started. The plan right now, and we're working on let me figure out where that link is. The plan right now is to do a course on OnShape for middle school and high school students. Um, so if anybody wants to start helping with some of that, all of that's in the outreach channel in Slack. We're starting to figure out what the course is going to kind of look like and how it works. Basically, it's going to be Saturday mornings for like 2 hours, 10 a.m. to noon throughout March is the plan. So we'll basically get them the information by like the first week of February. They'll be able to send it out and get people signing up. And then March 6th, we'll have the first class. Ideally, we'd have multiple students teaching like individual little segments throughout each session. So it's not all on one person. Um, and so a lot of it's going to be like, here's how, right? We'll talk about what we do, talk about why CAD's important, how you actually use it in engineering, and then also like how to do the sketches, how to make things 3D, how to make assemblies. We have think of some project ideas that we can have for them. Like if you were a middle school or high school student who had never seen robots or CAD before, we kind of need projects for that sort of thing. So it's not going to be really robot based. There's going to be a bunch of other kind of creative and ideas we can do just in CAD. Um, but we should be able to get that going pretty nicely so we can start doing a little bit more outreach. We haven't done a lot since we've had to stop meeting in person. Following up with that, we did some more in-person training sessions. We had people catch up, or we had more people build the tool training rubber band car that we did over Christmas break with a lot of people. So we had 3 more people get that finished, and we have that whole project is a little bit more solid now. We've updated some of the ways we've been doing things. And then we also had people disassemble the 2017 robot, which is helpful in getting a lot of like seeing how things are built, but also just getting some of the muscle memory of how to work with bolts and screws and all of that we do all the time. And we just needed to get the stuff cleaned up and the parts back from it. So yeah, we have this coming weekend, we have in-person slots to be able to get some more things set up and accomplished. We have, we'll talk about that in a second when we start going into what this week looks like. Monday, we did Romy robots with a few students. We just did the introduction. The video sort of goes through what the Romy robot is. Real fast summary. Basically, we will have about 10 of these little robots that we can loan out to students on our team, and you can program them with the actual FRC software and simulator software. So the goal is going to be to use a lot more of our control stuff going through the Romy when possible, because you can actually have it do the movements, and you can basically work out a lot of the autonomous code and like all the driving around and autonomous on this tiny robot that costs $100 or so, instead of needing a full robot and a space to drive it around and things like you would need if you were using a full-size FRC one. So I'm getting most of the parts for that. We have most of the parts of that already. I just need to get the Raspberry Pis, or the rest of the Raspberry Pis, and we should be good. The computer that sits on top, and we'll be able to basically hand those out this weekend. So if people are interested in checking that out, start letting me know. We'll have some sort of sign up, but the people who are interested, just start telling me, and I can start figuring out who's going to get them, at least the first run of them. Yeah, and then the kit will have like rechargeable batteries, the SD card and stuff, a Wi-Fi adapter because that makes it easier to connect to it, and everything we'll need to be able to have like kind of everyone has the same setup, so we should be able to do a lot of the controls training a lot easier. Okay, and then yesterday, chairman's meeting. Kathleen's driving, so I won't make her talk. Basically, we talked about a lot of more of like how the essay is going to actually work. So we had already done a lot of work on the executive summary and have most of that to a stage where we kind of know what needs to be there. We just haven't made it all pretty yet and finished it, but we have most of them kind of written out. But we hadn't really looked at the essay at all. Sometime before yesterday's meeting, we had discussed having an essay theme. And right now we're set at learn today, build tomorrow. So it's just kind of like a phrase to kind of work through the entire essay. So it's a little bit easier for us to write it and make it work, make it work nicely for the judges. So hopefully we can have at least the first draft of those sections done by next week. And same with the WFFA essay as well. So we can kind of get our first drafts done by the end of next week. So we have a couple weeks to basically be doing editing and getting some outside help in editing and stuff too. So hopefully that all goes to plan. So if there's any more people who want to help with some of the writing, we definitely have a lot that we have a lot of spots that we can help, that people can help with, and getting some of that written out. Last night we followed through with what we did last Thursday, and did more of the box for the 3D printer. So we talked about some more of the OnShape features, how we can get some things into variables, and then how we'd actually go for once we had our final like CAD and we were ready to produce, how we can use auto layout and Kirimoto to actually get the files ready to be cut on the laser, or cut on the router. So again, there's video for that. Both the videos are pretty short. They're like under 30 minutes. So they work pretty nicely if you want to go through and make sure you have how to do this, because it's definitely we've kind of laid out the process of how we can build a lot of the stuff we're going to build for the robot now. Okay. Going forward this week is today we're doing game design or game challenges, the FRC challenges. So we're going to talk about the game design challenge, the judged robot stuff, and innovation challenge if we have any of those people here for that. And then what do we have? So today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is OnShape again. So we'll do some more OnShape work. We also have signups for this weekend. So hopefully, if you are able to come this weekend, please fill out the sign up form. There's some more amount of, we're going to try to actually get our infinite recharge at home field rolled out and start figuring out at least how to like tape out the space so we can start figuring out where like all the nav markers go. We'll probably try to build the nav markers, or at least most of them. We'll probably use pool noodles for it. What else do we have to do? There's some more kind of cleanup and organizing that has to get done in the lab. Some more of the old robots and things. Also, the plan is to get 2020 ultraviolet up and running again for the first time since last March. Make sure it works. Start making a like somewhat of a to-do list of things if anything has to be done on it. I know there's some code stuff that has to be done. It hasn't been upgraded to the newest 2021 software version. Some of that has to happen. Ideally we'll pull up and try to get at least that one running. Probably the practice bot, maybe 2019. So if we can get those, we know those robots can all drive. That would be helpful to what we're doing in the future. Any questions about stuff we did this past week? What's happening moving forward? Where'd the schedule go? So yeah, so this is the current weekly schedule. I'm gonna start moving this to the bottom, I guess. Something like that. So this is the current weekly schedule. We moved some of our meetings back to 5 p.m. because it seemed like people were having trouble getting home in time for the 4:15 starts. So Monday and Thursday and Friday are now 5 o'clock starts. So hopefully that helps let people get there a little bit easier. If there are still times that just like don't work for you for some reason, start letting me know, because if we can, I'm totally fine having different times, multiple times, whatever we can do to get people active and engaged. I'm fine figuring it out. So yeah, whatever, if we can do stuff to make it easier on your schedule, let me know.